Hello everyone, TechStack here. Hey, we are going to have a bit of a quieter stream, a bit of a coding stream. A couple issues from last night that came up, these two here, and then a couple other features I want to just work on. And I thought I would just do that on stream, not in Discord. Stay focused and get some things knocked out here, hopefully pretty quick. So the very first one here that I've got on my list to do is to limit the rally point tool to 32 blocks. Currently, when using the rally point tool now, it will let you place the rally point for multiple structures, and when doing so, there's no limitation on how far it can do that. And unfortunately, from our testing yesterday, we discovered that it's possible and very likely that someone will either intentionally or unintentionally create a rally point that's halfway across the map when they've also placed a barracks across the map. So they place the barracks in their base and they place the barracks over near the enemy's base and create a rally point there, intending just for those ones close by to be set to the rally point, and it ends up setting the rally point for all troop production buildings of that type. And that was what I initially envisioned, but from yesterday's testing we discovered a little bug. Sorry about that, I had to change my headset out. My wireless headset's been giving me fits because the charger doesn't always charge the batteries. I have to make sure it's in there just right to charge it. Okay, so that old battery's in there charging properly now, finally. Anyway, so because of that movement across the entire map, if their path gets blocked because of, I don't know, the terrain of the map or whatever, it starts getting very laggy because they will try and search in a very large area then to get to where they're going. So let's fix that. The way to fix it is to limit how many or how far away the rally point gets set. And that is in the rally point tool. If I can find that real quick, we can get this one crossed off our list. It's a rally point tool item. In here, we're sending this to the server, and the server's where it's actually calculating the rally point to be set. And if we are sneaking, right? So if we're not sneaking, it's setting it straight up. I think that one will leave as is because we're setting one by one, and if somebody wants to run and set it 40 blocks away, I don't really care. But here is the one that's setting it for everything else. So we'll need to do some distance calculation between the position X and the to position and the position of the current tile entity that we're working with to see if it's within 32 or not. If I remember correctly, distance calculations are something like this. So we get our X and our Y position. Get X. I'm actually going to only do the distance calculation off of X and Z. So horizontally across the map, vertically across the map, I don't care as much because a lot of the maps are going to be pretty flat anyway. So get X equals, or let's say from X. We'll call that a, what are these other ones? The two positions. They are integers. They are integers. Cool. So we're doing it to a block position. So int and int from Z. And then we do a squared plus b squared equals c squared to get our distance calculation. So from X times from X plus from Z equals from Z, or times, not equals, times from Z. So that's our a squared and b squared part of that equation. And we're going to say distance, we'll call it a integer value. We are not going to do the square root of this because it's extra calculations for the server to do, and we can instead, because we're just doing a distance check, square the distance that we're trying to check against, right? So if we're only trying to see if our distance is greater or less than 32, let's just multiply 32 by itself, right, and get the square of 32. In fact, let's not even do that math in the server. 32 times 32 is 1024. So our target, so let's call it int distance limit sq to just indicate that it's squared 1024. Okay, and just try to see if there's any way we can get this simpler. I don't think that there is. I want to simplify it as in not have to check for totality. Get position. We could do that up there with the get position piece. So let's move this up. Team name, don't even need to care about that. It's just where we're getting this MSD. Get position like that. So if we take that instead, now we're checking it before we've even looked at the team name, so we don't need to do a string comparison, we don't need to look at the type, we don't need to look at the, if it's a tile entity from the world. There's a lot of efficiency to be had from that, I believe. Okay, and then we just put our check in. So if distance limit squared is equal to or smaller than, let's do it the reverse. So distance squared, so the distance to that block from our target. And I've got a mistake in the code already, RC. So if that is less than or equal to the distance limit squared, we're going to do that. That block of code, gosh. Okay, so our bug in the code is we don't have the distance here, we just have the location. So we need to translate this into a distance calculation. Because we're squaring these, it doesn't matter if it's negative or positive, so we can just take our to position x, subtract that out, and our to position y, z. Now those are distances. We'll call this, we'll refactor this to name this distance x, and enter on that. Oops. Distance z. There we go. So let's check this thing out. For now, else tsrts dot logger dot info distance to great, not setting this rally point. And run. One of these times I'm going to need to set up my a server on my computer and run it with hundreds of guys trying to cross the map. See where the bottleneck is in the code. But this will solve most of the lag issue right now. I need to have 2 teams is the problem. Getting 2 Minecraft accounts running on one computer is kind of a pain in the butt. When I've only got 1 Minecraft account to work with. Okay, multiplayer, no, single player. Let's recreate a brand new world. Let's go world options and customize the super flat into a redstone ready one so that we don't get, what are they called? Slimes spawning. Red, ready. Something I should have done long ago for this setup. Just make sure Yeah, this is the only code file we've changed. Just want to make sure. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. So let's place down a barracks. Oops, we've got a breakpoint system on the code, it looks like. Let's look at our breakpoints and remove them all. Okay. Okay, so we got the barracks. Place that down. Let's grab the rally point tool and set it way out here. We're definitely more than 32 blocks away right now. It should correctly set it. Oh, I shifted, didn't I? Well, let's check our log. Distance too great, not setting the rally point. Perfect. So we hit the part of the code that we were testing for, meaning that that didn't actually change our rally point. So if we recruit some troops right now, go ahead and set this on infinite mode for a moment. We'll get a guy spit out. He will go to his default rally point for that block. Yes, so it didn't work. Okay, perfect. That's what we want to have happen. Now I'm going to right click this thing again, and we're going to go further out. This is more than 32 blocks for sure. I'm going to right click without shifting this time, and it should successfully set the rally point. We shouldn't see any error messages down here about it being too far. And I don't, so we're good. The next guy that spits out of the thing should try and walk that distance. It's just he's going to be a bit hard to see. There we go. There he is. So it's working. That's all there was to fix that code, or fix that bug, if you call it a bug, to change it. Let's just go ahead and have this thing killed so it doesn't spawn forever. Let's also turn off our infinite mode. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and make this commit referencing our issue. Limit rally point tool to 32 block distance when doing sneak mode and trying to set multiple rally points. Commit. There we go. So if I refresh my page here, let's open this issue up. Apparently referencing 192 didn't work. Oops. Ah, I didn't put it in there. Okay. Let's copy the SHA and reference it in here. By doing that, it just tags the issue together. We can close that issue out. Okay, so our next issue then becomes location check for placing structures is not properly considering lava and water. It thinks it's valid, right? So to demonstrate that, if I were to try and place down this barracks, it's checking for solid land, right? If I were to put it over a hole, it doesn't work. But if that hole were filled with water or lava, it does work. So he's trying to place that barracks over lava and it'll let it. That also means probably if I were to, I can't actually directly look at the water block, so it's not going to work by staring at it. But we don't want that, because it's possible for someone to just properly place it so that there's lava surrounding their target blocks, and then that can't be killed. So let's fix that one. That should be in our placement validation check, but I don't know that the placement validation check only exists in one spot. It might be in two spots, and One's the red outline that shows on the overlay, and the other is the actual validation for placing it. I hope that I've set it up so that it's only one spot, but I don't know for sure. Render unit selection frames. Nope, that's not it. Render queues is not it. I think it might be a different method inside here. Nope, I guess not. We've definitely set up a place where we're drawing a bunch of lines, and that's the code I'm looking for. Okay, so this is drawing the top piece. Maybe it's this client event. On client tick, let's look at our outline. On click event, on color handler, selected units, render world last. There we go. So this is where we're doing the check for it. We're getting the color of the outline here, and that color is really what we need to look at. So if we look at that better, is valid location if it's not a wall. And this is what we're doing it for first, is not walls. So it is doing is valid location. And there's also a valid location for walls. Okay. And I think the wall one we're okay. It'll replace the fluid, and that's what we want. So let's look at is valid location. So in this, we're looping through all of the blocks and checking if it is not air. Okay, so if it's not air, we say result false, meaning that we're not under it. So this is the block underneath check. So we need to make sure that it is air. If it is air, it's doing this. We also need to check if it is water or lava. Basically, if it's a fluid. So we're going to do the same piece of this after an or. So if it's air or water. So let's see, can we do is fluid? Dot is fluid, no, get fluid state. Let's see what that one gets us if it's a normal block. Get fluid state. Fluid's empty, get default state. I mean, I can quickly just say get block is air, or is lava. Get block equals blocks dot lava. Problem is we're gonna have to do multiple checks to this. Let's see if there's anything special about lava. Flowing block, fluid block. And flowing fluid block takes a fluid in. Fluids.water. Is there a material? There is. Material water or material lava. Where else is water used? Okay, no, it's not. Let's look for flowing. So they only have water and. So what I don't want to have happen is have to search for multiple block types. One for water that's still, one for water that's flowing. So I think if I do material water, material lava, that should probably do it. We can do a check on the material. Dot get material. Yeah, once the block state again. Here we go. If the material equals Why is that deprecated? What the heck? Deprecated call via block state get material whenever possible. Implementing overriding is fine. Okay, so we can do it off of the block state instead of get block. Get material. There we go. Okay, so if that equals materials dot lava or water. So if it's air, water, or lava, there's no block underneath it. Save. Go back into the world. We now get a red outline, apparently all the time. That's white. We get a red outline. Can't place it down. Can place it down, so that's all working. Let's just let lava do it. Does it not kill the block? Ah, those are invulnerable to lava. That's awesome. Not that it matters, but... And the whole thing is going to burn. There we go. So let's check that this didn't get broken. That's interesting. You can't place it when there's... Oh, that's right. You needed a gap all the way around your building. So that's the building size. Yeah, that's the building size, but you need a gap around it as well. So it's all working. Let's make sure it works with lava. Yep. Perfect. So this ensures that there's a walking path to get to this, because if this were a lava line, right, somebody can walk here now to get to it. That's the idea. Sue damage. Oh, we crashed. Why did we crash? Failures. Exception access violation? Wow, it created a core dump? That wasn't a Minecraft crash, that was a Java crashed on me. Okay, we're gonna need to test to see if they can reproduce that, but I don't think we're gonna be able to. Let's go ahead and start writing up our commit while this loads. Fixes 193. Yeah. Placement now checks to ensure the ground is not lava or water before. That's good enough. Structure placement. Structure placement. Okay, Minecraft's running. Let's go in there. I was trying to search for damage potion is all I was trying to do. That's why I don't think we're going to reproduce this, because I've done that a million times before. Blue, ready, start, and B, A, T, yeah, so D, A, M, A, G, E. There we go. So that's fine. That crash was just something special that happened. Eclipse has been running for days again on my computer, so probably related to that. There we go. Cool, look destroyed. Those should time out. So let's go ahead and commit this one. I think we're done with this issue. Boop. Push it on up there. It should automatically move from here over in progress or done or something. Oh no, wait, it won't. It won't do it till we close, and we won't close it until waiting to pull to master. Okay, so let's get the latest structure files from the build world. So I'm gonna go ahead and launch my FTP client to do that, and connect to the server. Let's see if I can put part of this on the screen here. I just don't want the logging. Actually, can I just can't hide the log? Anyway, so my build server's location. Go to world generated Minecraft, because we're naming them all Minecraft. Prefix just because defaults to that anyway. Look for last modified, and we've got lots of armories. We've got siege workshops. We've got some research centers from the 29th. And siege workshops. Okay, so let's grab all of these. And we need a place to put them. This is our best window for it. Let me pull it over to that screen, which you guys can see. And in our source, main, resources, data, our TSRTS structures, and here's where we keep all these files. So we just plop them into there, and it downloads everything. Asking me about replacing things that already exist. We do want to do that. Transfer all 23 files. Okay, so we're going to need to relaunch Minecraft next. And I shouldn't have to, but I'm going to, just in case that change didn't take effect. I want to have to restart. So I found a place in Eclipse where you can tell it, hey, let's ensure... what's the word I'm looking for? Let's ensure that you're always updating with file changes that happen on the operating system, which was very nice. So if I change an image, how do I insert the structures? Yes, there is a different building for each color, and I actually just did it. So we're using the structure block in Minecraft and building them on a Minecraft server, saving them with that structure block, telling it to keep the entities and all this happy stuff. We've got a lot of rules around how they work, basically. And then I just download the structure MBT files from the server, put them in the mod, load them with the structure system in Minecraft. So it's vanilla code, basically, I'm calling to load the structure in. So Blue, you seem like you're interested in actually the modding side of it, not just playing the mod, which is very cool to me. How have you made a mod before? Are you just interested in making one someday? What piques your interest in the mod side of things? So I forget what team I'm on, so team... there's probably no easy way for me to tell other than placing down a barracks. I think I'm blue. Typically pick blue. Yeah, I'm blue. Okay, so let's look at Blue's armory. Damage. There we go. We need to destroy it as well. So there is our armory block. Like 2 years ago, started loading Colton a week ago. What's Colton? I haven't heard of that one. So what I'm trying to do here with this armory is to ensure that it destroys properly. There's the other one. No, I never heard of it. Or at least if I have, I don't remember. Let's put it that way. Oh, interesting. So there's going to be these blocks, which would damage you if you stood on them. That's going to give the guys some fits. This is going to be a problem. Just realized it. Okay. So those armor blocks look very cool being in the armory. Google it, okay. What's his own programming language? Class platform typically typed. Statically typed. General purpose programming language. What was designed to operate? What with Java? JVM version standard. What? Huh. Interesting. Okay, so it didn't clear its entire area, so we need to set the size of it properly. So I need to grab the size of the thing. That's simple enough. But the armor blocks don't destroy. No, so while I use Java for all of my game development stuff that I'm doing, like the game here we're working on, I don't use it professionally. Like, my current job doesn't need Java. We'll probably eventually need it, so these skills are not going to waste. It's just we don't use it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know JetBrains, and I know IntelliJ. Do you use IntelliJ? Maybe you know the answer to my dilemma with it. So this is a problem. We can't have those armor stands there, I guess. Oh, really? That's going to take a long time for that to happen, man. There's so much Java code out there. At this point, it's ridiculous. And so it's fully interoperable with Java. Is it another implementation of a JVM? Hey, G. It converts into Java. Okay, okay. So it's just the language then. Okay. Yeah, I might have to look that up then. I don't know that it's going to help me with Minecraft though, because I imagine it. Like, can you call Java libraries and other Java code? I'll have to Google it more later. Yeah, with some extras. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I'll have to look at it. So, my question about IntelliJ, so while we're on the topic of other things, I typically will have my Minecraft running in debug mode in Eclipse, make a change to my code, and it will hot swap the code for me, right? As long as I don't like create another method or a static variable or something like that, right? So as long as I'm working within an existing method, I can change that method as much as I want. You can even have Java classes in your Colton program. Okay, thank you, man. So I like that feature in Eclipse where it hot swaps the code for you, and it does it near instantly, right? So by the time I hit save and then tab over to Minecraft, there might be like a second delay, and then my code's running, right? It's instant. When I was doing that in IntelliJ, the hot swapping feature is not even enabled by default, and there's no way to trigger it just by saving the file. I had to right-click it, tell it to, I don't know what the command was, rebuild the project, and that was after enabling a bunch of options and settings to even get that to work. And even then, it took 15-20 seconds for the code to recompile and hot swap. So when you're doing something like, say, TSRTS, my trebuchet entity, right? When I was animating that, I hot swapped the code a lot. It automatically saves, but it doesn't hot swap your code for what you saved. That's the problem. Or you can get it to automatically save, I guess. So that was a thing. Just getting the initial setups to be the way I want, and then fight through using it as a newcomer and trying to learn all the shortcut keys and everything that I already knew in Eclipse. Like, you know, I want to see what this method is. F3, boom. I go to that method. I've just got that built-in knowledge of how to use this. Can I relearn all that stuff? Certainly. But when you get into other things, it's a problem. Yeah, the trebuchet is not done at all, man. I was just using it as an example. Okay, so our current task is the structure file. I kind of went off on a tangent. Right, there is all the hotkeys are there. Don't get me wrong. It's just they're completely different. I have to learn them again. So add in the fact that I need to do that, which isn't a big... It's more of a nitpick, right? It isn't a big issue. But add in the fact that I couldn't get hot swapping to work efficiently for my workflow. I ended up restarting Minecraft all the time. And when you're loading a mod, that takes a couple minutes to change one line of code then. And that's not an efficient way to work. So that's the main reason I went back, was hot swapping. It just didn't seem efficient. Okay, so the structure files. I'm actually going to load up Minecraft itself, the full client, and get on the build server and see what the size of this armory is, because clearly I've got it way too small. And unfortunately we're going to have to remove the armor stands, it looks like, because... Not because they won't spawn in correctly, it's because they don't despawn correctly. Which is annoying. And I don't want to have to start killing entities in the world when these things despawn. Let's see how strongly CZ wants them. Okay, I'm not sure how much longer I can stream. I think I hear people getting up now. Might have to take a break here in a bit, but we'll see. I get summoned away. Okay, so these are the structures themselves for the armory, and it's 17 by 17. So I need to go into my code. And for the armory builder item, we set its size to 19 by 19. So we want that 1 block gap on each side of the building, and then 13 tall. Okay, so now in our test world, if I go to the armory, its size looks appropriate. So we're going to test this by just walking sideways here and see where we can place it. Okay, we can place it there. There's the 1 block gap in between, so perfect. And now we need to kill one of them and ensure that it deletes all of its own blocks. It's up there. There. Okay, so it should, in theory, once it's destroyed. It's currently at structures in its rubble state. 30 seconds later, it will go to its destroyed state and clear itself out. We should see all of those fences in the corners and the logs disappear if this is working correctly. Oh, we didn't get the logs. Oh wait, that's for that one. Ha, we did. Okay, so everything worked. Oh, and then that's a problem. Armor stands, mine carts. Ouch. They're just decorations. And they're gonna sit around the world forever then. We have other decorations that do that as well, I guess. Let's go to peaceful mode here. Get rid of the mobs out of the picture. Take a screenshot of it. Let's just do a snipping tool. Snipping tool, where'd you go? Oh, it's over on my other screen, that's why I can't find it. So this And I'm going to post this into Discord for CC. See what he thinks. Let's see, RTS mod development. You think that is after the armory destruction? Entities, armor stand, and mine carts are not destroyed. Could we remove them or do a search for entities and kill the entities in the building area, but ignore or include entity type with a white or black list of types, e.g. don't kill minions and players, or do kill only armor stands and mine carts and dropped items, etc. I say dropped items because we've got that one building now, the research center for Team Red, I think it is. When that's placed down, it places a... I think all the teams actually place it. Let's just show you. So the research... Oh, I got my phone. If you place it, it does this. It does a lectern with a book in it, and that book, when this thing is destroyed, drops on the ground. Not the end of the world, the book eventually despawns. It's not like the armor stands will stay forever. These things are so weak. You see, that book's already floating there. Okay, so that's acceptable, I guess, for the moment. It's for the armory. Let's do the siege workshop. That size might be right, actually. Let's try it again. Inside it. Holding right click. And as soon as I can place it again... Nope, it's too small. So we need to adjust the size on that one again as well. So our other Minecraft instance. Let's go find the siege workshop. There it is. It should be size 16 by 16 and 15 tall. So siege workshop. Apologies for the dog barking in the background. No, 17, not 16. One on each side. And 15 tall. Safe. Let's try placing the siege workshop out here. That was not the siege workshop. Oh, cool. My OBS finally decided, hey, he's got Discord and he should be in voice chat. I was gonna stay out of Discord for today, but that's fine. Okay. Now it's properly sized at least. This is an interesting building, so I'm not sure if these things are gonna cause us problems. Because if I were in survival, plop. Oh yes, I forgot. I made it so that tiles don't drop. We're fine. We're fine. So I was afraid that those are going to drop into your hand and you can place them somewhere else in the world, but we're good. You can't do that. We're also getting a lot of different block types that you can interact with in our structures. I don't know if that's good or bad yet, right? Somebody might be able to start crafting things to exploit something. We'll just have to try it. Let's kill this thing, make sure it deletes its proper area. Creative, please. So things I look for is the tile already surviving that. Yes, it did. The one with the black and purple top there. It's important they survive because that's what cleans it up afterwards. If they don't survive going to that state, then it'll never clean up. There we go. Sorry, I got distracted by an email. Okay. Armory, Siege Workshop, Research Center was the other one. Let's change teams now. So that was all blue. Team join. Green's next in the list, so we're going green. Cool. It's no longer floating one block up like it was before. They didn't scan the ground anymore. Looks all fine in here. Size is probably right. There are no target blocks? Oh, this one's weird. No target on the front of the thing. Okay, so it's destroyed. Destroyed state's not as much rubble as some of the other ones. It's just a temp thing though, for now. Let's make sure it clears itself out. And it won't. Because the block's not there. We needed that research center block to be there. Yes, I'm awake, Reaper. I've been awake for a while. IS Early Bird. Siege Workshop for green. So let me make note of this. Green RC. GRC. Green Research Center's bugged. I know what's causing it. It's easy to fix. Where's the other one? Okay, that one's all good. Let's do the armory for green then. Fully expect this to work because it's the same thing, just different team colors. Okay, let's do team red. Did blue first. Red's research center, that's no change to it. I don't think I need to test that. Siege Workshop places down correctly, everything looks red. And armory, let's kill all of those. Various different blocks, make sure they despawn. I fully expect them to because they're basically just copies of the other teams for these two. Where's the other block that it thinks? Oh. There it is. I've got my stream named Evening, I just realized. never know. Changed it. Where is this other blogger? That's what I get for only half paying attention to what I'm doing in the game. I'm doing multiple things at a time. And then yellow is the last one. Okay, so armory, plot good. Got the yellow sign. It does. Yellow banner. Yellow banners. And there we go. Okay, so let's kill all of these. I have a feeling the research center is not going to despawn correctly. Tried around a bit with IntelliJ, okay. Trying to do the hot swap stuff I was talking about. You have to set a breakpoint and rebuild it. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. It's weird. You have to tell it rebuild. Where Eclipse, it just does it. You don't have to do anything. You save, it starts a build in the background, and hot swaps the code for you. And I'm not saying it like that Eclipse is better. It's just I'm used to that, right? And that's a big feature for me to keep me with Eclipse for now. Okay, so this one, oh, so for yellow it worked. So it kept the research center block. So this one will destroy. The other one won't. Exactly what you mean. I think, okay, yeah, I get what you're saying, I think. So this one should destroy in 30 seconds. Yep, cool. So yellow was fine. As I said, I didn't want to switch 2 years ago because everything seems so different. Yeah, yeah. It is. I tried it for maybe a week or two. And I was able to do everything else. It's, or at least I think it was. That's the main thing I remember as being a pain for me, was the speed at which I can make changes to my code. I mean, you've seen me. I've changed these numbers and just saved and switched back over here, and I was up and running with the new code, and I could test the next thing. There's something where you have a minute and a half start time on your program. That's an issue. Okay, so it was green town center, even though it's got red carpet inside. That's another thing, probably. So let's go find that research center block for green. So this one. And it should, but it does not have a void structure right here. That's the main cause of that. And this one does. You can see it when I highlight it there. You can see the outline of that block. Okay, so do I dare change the carpet? Let's go look at their town halls real quick. I think everything else has carpet in it, according to the team's color. I guess those don't. Yeah, that's green, yellow, blue, and red. Yeah, let's change them. So it is yellow, I believe, and green we need to change. Just want to get the right carpet color. So the carpet colors are just a way of helping you ground which building you're in. Not that you go into them a lot. Yeah, I didn't think I had to set a breakpoint when I was doing it. It just, you had to tell it to build, and there was no easy way to force it to build with a save automatically or something. I usually even get to the point where I was looking for plugins for it, right? And then when you do the build, it didn't immediately show up. Like it took some time for the hot swap to actually take place. And it was more frequent that it wouldn't allow me to hot swap than what Eclipse would. So there were simpler changes I was making to the code that would prevent the hot swap from working, if that makes sense. So I resaved the yellow one. Let's get the yellow carpet in here. And there's a changeable hotkey just for rebuilding the class you edited, which is fast. Yes, building it was fast, but the changes wouldn't show up in Minecraft right away. It might have been the external files as well, like the resources, so the language files, the JSON files, those might not have been hot swappable at all. Can't remember. Eclipse has some oddness to it, I'll say. But I've now worked out all of its oddness to where I just change it in the operating system and it knows automatically. Did I close that door in the other building? I did not. Let's re-say that with the door closed. Just for consistency. So I haven't given up on IntelliJ, I've just given up on it for now. Endless while and print. Oh yeah, that makes sense. It's a good test case. It's a really good test case actually, because you can change what it's printing real fast. Okay, there's that one. This one, the door's open. Oh. Make sure the thing's there. It is. Don't have anything large to test it with. Yeah, I was able to get it hot swapping, but it was just the time that it took. So I know it hot swaps. It was just a pain to do it. I have to go back and look at my old videos and see what it was I was getting so frustrated with. Because I think I changed back to Eclipse right after. The last video where I used IntelliJ, it ticked me off enough where I'm like, okay, I'm going back to Eclipse. And I had to jump through hoops because I was thinking I had to redo the entire project several times because of the other objects that weren't classes. Right? So, like if I added a structure. Right, so down here, these JPEG files or PNG files, these MBT structure files that make up all the buildings and stuff like that, I had to redo the whole project every time I changed those. So there's no way to say recompile this thing that's not compilable. But I have bad memory for those things. I'll have to go look at the old video and stuff. Okay, so those should be good. Let's download them now into the right folder, which I need to find on my system. This one. So, if you use IntelliJ for work, do you not have to do hot swapping often? I mean, anything that I can get hot swapping to work in, it helps me, right? It helps me code faster. I guess if the project was small enough, it wouldn't matter. So you could just restart it if it doesn't have a long startup time. $857 Armory Green. Let's try this. Oh, you don't code at work, okay. I just figured when you were talking about Colton and everything that you'd used it professionally. My bad. Okay, now this one I think I do have to restart Minecraft because I don't believe there's any way to reload that in Minecraft itself. So Eclipse would send it if the files changed, but Minecraft, I don't think the F3T thing works to reload structure files. It's only textures and stuff. Could be wrong. So that was the research center for green and yellow we need to check, and the armories, all of them. No, the armories didn't change, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong date. That was yesterday. Learning it so be able to mod Hightail once it comes out. Okay, so it's written in Colton? Is that what you're telling me? I guess that makes sense if it's interoperable with Java, because those Hightail's Hypixel, and Hypixel guys made their own stuff, right, for Hypixel itself. Huh. Server code is Java. That makes sense. Client is written in C#. Interesting. That makes sense to me why they would want to do that. Just for performance reasons. Yeah. So you want to write server-side mods then? That would make modding something like what I'm doing, where you need something both on the client and the server, more complicated, right? Because you have to write it in 2 different languages. It's back to what Minecraft's early day problem was, where they had 2 different sets of code, right? So they had one set of code that ran on the server and one set of code that ran on the client, and because they were different, there was desync issues. Client won't be moddable. So are they writing their client in such a way where it looks to the server for most things, meaning downloading what the items are from the server and things like that, instead of having its own list all the time? You know, Minecraft used to be all hard-coded what the IDs of all the blocks were and everything. Now it's not so much. Okay, I forget what we changed in this one, but we changed something in it. But it appears to be working. It was the siege or the research center that was really the bug, because the block disappeared on it. I guess that might be early to tell what Hypixel's client's going to be like. Yeah, the client downloads resources and the server runs logic. Yeah, cool. So you could still mod in a new item and picture for the item and everything, because it gets it from the server. Okay, so the building structure is there. It's all green. Oh, in-game scripting? Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Team join. And I know there's lag, so yes, you can post a link. If I'm not explicit, sometimes it's hard to tell what I'm answering yes to. Yeah, that's the destroyed state. We've got the thing. It's got yellow carpet. I think we're all good. Now, if you can't post a link, that's YouTube's doing, but I don't care. You can also post in Discord if you want them to watch you. Well, I think we can close down this issue then, guys. So the issue was to get the latest files from the server, and we've achieved that. So this is issue 194. Look at all the files we had to change. Closes issue. Right, closes number 194. Latest files are included structures. So basically modding is one of their main focuses. So that's cool. And that makes sense because that's basically what they were, right? They like high pixel mini games were a big thing. They were one of the better ones to make mini games. At least they were one of the better popular ones, at least. Adjust server cost of eco. Okay, so this is changing our configs. This isn't really code change per se. This is a config change. Oh, I know they're big. Yeah. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. You guys need to see Death Cube that we created, the plugin. We were basically creating our own. I have a domain name created. I was trying to build my own type of Hypixel right before Microsoft / Mojang changed their license agreement. And that's what completely demotivated me from working on that at that time. Anywho, yeah, Star Wars minigames was pretty cool. So they had something we didn't, right, Reaper? And that is people that could build texture packs or resource packs very well. I've gone blank. What am I doing? The eco. So I wanted to look at the configs on the client first and see if we already changed it on the client. If we did, I want to change it here as well. So let's look at the very top of the file, because generating resources should be near there for the town hall. Town hall generate string F3. This. It's still set to 5, so that's what we're going to set it back to on the server. Wait 1 second. I want to check one more piece. Where the heck am I telling this thing what the name of this config file is? Because it drives me bonkers that the server creates 2 of them, and I think it's because I have it in some mixed case form and it wants it all lowercase or something. So where are you? Outline. Just a static. Onload config. Call hierarchy. I don't think we're going to actually call it anywhere. Yeah, we're not. Okay, what about that one? That one might get called. Yes. And we're putting it in uppercase. Let's change this to TS RTS and TS RTS lowercase and see if this fixes a bug that I don't even have an issue for because it drives me nuts. So what I'm going to do, how am I going to fix this then? So it's lowercase now. So Windows doesn't care about case, right? It would always see that as the same file if it's uppercase and lowercase, but Linux does care, and I think that's been my issue with the server having 2 files. It creates an uppercase for one thing and lowercase for another. So I've been dealing with it by just changing both of my configs on my server. So you can see here, this is the server. If I go to the config folder, it's got this one and this one. How? Right? How? How does Minecraft do that? Why does it do that? More importantly, why? But anyway, it's now going to be only lowercase, I believe. So I guess I need to delete the uppercase version of this. Yes. Do a pull request on GitHub after I commit this. So commit changing config file name to lowercase only. My headset died again because it hadn't charged properly. So let's push to origin as soon as this lets me. Create pull request. Merge it with master. Okay, and confirm merge. So let me change my battery. Okay, I got my battery changed, but the other one's not charging. Let me fiddle with it for a second here, see if I can get it to charge. So without it charging, it's useless. Also a bit of a fire hazard. Uh-oh. It's like the battery's shorting out inside the charger. There. Now it's finally charging. That might warrant a trip to Micro Center later today, to be honest. Get a new headset. It's falling apart on the earmuffs anyway. So let's now go and to my build server. When we did that commit to master, it triggered this build to run. You can see 10:09 a.m. And this has all of the changes. So I'm going to download this. We're going to kill our local client and use that instead. So this folder, this folder. We gotta get to our mods location. Drag that in there. Get rid of build 74 or 75. And then on the server itself, in the mods folder, put 76 on there. Just uploaded it. Delete 75. Go to my console window. Restart my server, which I've got automatically restarting if I just stop it. Let's watch the config folder. We've only got one config now, assuming it's done loading. That's a normal message. It should be done loading now. Refresh the folder. We've got only double of this because the client one I didn't remove. I only removed the server version, which was this. So cool. So this combo one, now we can edit the file, the one file finally. Yay. For what we actually need. Town Hall research cost. Let's see, I probably still have that open on my screen back here under config. No, I don't. I want to get the string I look for. So town hall generate string. There we go. It's down here, and we need to look for this in the config. There we go. And we want to set it to what we had on our client. This value. So we will get 5 food, 5 wood, 5 iron, or 5 stone, 5 iron, 1 gold, 1 diamond per 10 seconds. Again. So that should help with the stone, requiring stone kind of thing, right? It's... And also if you put yourself in a hole where you've used all of your resources, you're not gonna die in that game, right? So let's save this. This should force my FTP client to ask me a question. Yes, I do want to upload that. Okay, let's put this on our screen again. Let's also go to my spreadsheet that we're using. Drive. Hold on one second while I load this up. This RTSCraft spreadsheet. So we're using this give Google Doc to determine all the different rates and what we think they should be and the cost of things. So these costs here are, I think, not correct for the farm through diamonds. Diamonds might be okay. So let's mark these in yellow so I keep focused on what I'm looking at here. So the farm requires 10 food to make. Why does a farm require food? Farms give you food. You need food to make food, right? Or at least that much. The main resource should not be the resource that it needs to make. So I'm going to lower that to 5. We won't need iron. The lumberyard takes 10 lumber. Why? I know that there's lumber in the lumberyard, but it's trying to make lumber, so let's lower that to 5. The iron needs 15 iron to, or stone needs 15 stone to make stone. 5. Yeah, that's what this is about. It's generating the config string. Some other tabs here, like the research one, I'm using the doc to generate my Java code. So I just take this line and copy and paste it. I don't want the mod itself when it loads to have to go out to a Google Doc. That way if you're playing offline single player, I know that doesn't make sense for this particular mod as much, but I don't want to have a dependency on this existing. So if we delete it later or change it for our own purposes and stuff like that. These are just starting suggestions, basically. You can change the configs however you want as the person running the server. Okay, so 45 lumber for 1 iron. Seems steep, but it's not iron. Let's make the cost of the iron 5 iron. The cost of the gold is nothing. See, that makes more sense to me. I'm thinking that these should be zeros. And you need the other resources to build that thing, right? So that you can't get locked into not being able to create these. Needs a bunch of food. So let's look at our normalized cost, which is the square root of all of these. It's like almost a distance calculation. We've made the farm very cheap, but I'm okay with that because it's just food. We also can adjust these if we need to, the production rates, so how much of that resource it spits out. Let's go with this for now, and when we do another playtest, whenever, we'll see if this is accurate or good for what we think it should be. Okay, so let's pull these in here now. This is the farm one. I need to make this small enough that I can see both things at the same time. Okay, where's farm? Well, that's generation. So we need to find building cost. Iron building cost. So this line. Oh, it picks up the quotes too, that's cool. Oh, watchtower building cost, no. Gate, lumberyard. It's our wood one here. Steps, archery range, mine site, emerald. We don't care about that because it's not actually a thing that we can buy. Mine site, stone. Gold. diamond, there it is. I think that's all of them. Armory, farm, okay, farm. Wall, research center, barracks. There we go. Let's save this. Add an ID tab to the left that generates the whole config line. Yeah, but what good does that do me? I'm still copying and pasting onto the right line. I would have to have the entire config in here, and we don't right now. So there's stuff that's on this that isn't even in the config because we don't have the marketplace yet. Weaponsmith, that's probably not even going to be a thing. Some of this is brainstorming. Okay, so yes, we want to upload that to the server. It's done that. And let's just view it again. Discard the local file and download it new. And just look for farm. And it no longer requires food, so it did take the change. That's all I was checking there. Cool. So let's go ahead and restart the server. Done. And there's really no commit for this. There is an issue though. So we'll have to go ahead and close out this issue then. So updated server configs to only to no longer need the resource the generators make to buy them. E.g. farms don't need food anymore. Also updated the town hall resource generation rates to make it 5 for food through iron and 1 gold and diamond again. I really do think that those were pretty good rates at the beginning. It just made the early game not feel as grindy as it currently does. Close and comment. Okay. So we're down to 19 issues. That's pretty good. Some of these issues are very close to being done, like Armory. World reset. After ending the game, the world should reset, so another played probably won't. I think we can do this. Complete needs complete need server op to stop the server. Later we can add post game command the mod does to do this automatically. I'm gonna leave it open, but it's not really on our milestone path right now. I just wanted to make that comment on there because it's easy enough to reset it. Indicate select a group of entities targets. That's gonna be really hard to do. Same for that one. Construction time we may not do. Repair time I'm not. I don't have a way of doing it right now. I don't think it's needed for the game. It's just going to extend the game, and that's not something we want to do. It's a long enough game. Siege workshop structure. Okay, that's not even related to the mod. It's just documentation. Resource production structure rates. That's going to be an ongoing thing. It'll never close. Tab images. We've got the images. I'm not sure what this is about. Current setup will definitely work for betas. Changing milestone. Okay, yeah, post release. This is a directional bug. Okay. So let's stop that server. I can't remember if I did it or not, but it doesn't hurt to do it again. Stop. Let's launch our client. Make sure there's no bugs we've introduced. Play a game. And just check those resource generations, see how it feels to play it. Now, I'm assuming no one out there wants to join me or is able to join me, so I will just play this single player game. Kind of don't have time for someone that doesn't already have the mod to get it either. So I need to get off here for a bit. Okay, so let's play this. Okay, let's go Team Yellow. Ready, start. Let's place down our Town Hall anywhere, because it doesn't matter. And I want to make sure that these rates go 5, 5. Yep, they did. And 5, 5, and 1, 1. Perfect. So we're getting resources now. Let's get a farm that costs no food. A lumber park, yes. I was able to buy 5 farms because it costs no food. Archers not moving? They need to be able to move, man. I think I get what you're saying, but they need to be able to move. You want a way of not having them move, like a hold their ground command. That would be very nice. I'm here. Oh, I don't have enough wood. Okay, so that's fine. I need wood to make more stone. Okay, we're gonna get more wood. But I can spend this so that I can get enough wood quicker. Yeah, I like the idea of it. Don't get me wrong at all. I like the idea of a way of telling the units to hold their ground. It needs to be done. How I achieve that, I have no idea. It's not just for turtles. There's times when you don't want your archers to move in, but you want your other troops to move in, and your archers just rain down fire on the enemy. Alright? That could be an offensive thing. You don't want your archers to be on the front line. Set up a control... Okay, so that needs to be an issue. What you just described, so I don't forget about it, because I forget about it every time I sit down to code. And the other issue we need to have created is one around a hotkey. So we've got our G, H, J, maybe K, so we might have to use K or L. Chief click the wand. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Do you keep the concept of blocks in the ground for resources? Yes. You basically need a custom map for this. Let's grab some more iron notes. Like, my resources are just fine now. Shift click with the wand. Which wand? Are you talking about the command scepter or the retreat one? Retreat one makes the most sense to me. Just because it's a don't attack thing kind of wand, and that's kind of what you're saying. You're saying don't move, ignore your targets, don't move, hold your ground. If you do that with regular troops, though, you're going to regret it, because they're just going to stand there until they get attacked, basically, and then they'll start attacking. Which I guess you might want that, but they're not going to run after anything. They're just going to stand there until something walks up to them, so archers are just going to annihilate them. Shift click the ground with the wand only to keep archers there. So you want it to only affect the archers. I don't think it should only affect the archers, because there's going to be other units where you might want them to hold the ground. They're just not in the game yet. So we're getting plenty of gold now. We need iron. I wasn't paying attention to which resource we need. Now we need lumber as well, but I got this iron. But I can buy lumber yards like crazy to get that fixed. I also can buy some more iron while I'm back here. Only have it for archers. But like, I'm gonna add crossbowmen and other ranged units potentially. That's what I'm saying. I don't want it to be only for archers. there might be a case where you want your guys to stay on the wall and hold their ground for a minute. If you shift click with it, they're holding the ground no matter what unit type it is. That's what I'm saying. This is building out very quickly, which is what you want. You're not crippled by not being able to produce one specific resource. There's no room. There's no room! When you add those troops, also do it. Yeah, but like, what if I want my minions to run up on a wall that I built right here and hold their ground until that wall's destroyed? For whatever reason. I can do that. If I limit it to only archers, it's just going to be confusing. That's what I'm trying to avoid, is confusion by people playing the game with mod. Like, I might want my troops to stand their ground around the town hall and not run away. Maybe if it's a melee unit, I make it so that they'll go attack something in their range, but they'll come back to that spot when they're done. Oh, I think they do that now. Never mind. My opinion is if you have both archers and other units, you shift for a quick the ground, the other units quarterback to the, and the archers stay back without having to separate them. Right, but I'm also going to add a thing where if I have archers and I have minions, you select one archer by right-clicking him, hit a key, and it selects all of your units of that type in the area. Similar to how you hit H, it selects everything in the area, but it's only the unit that's selected that it does it for. Or unit type. That way you can select all of your archers, put them on a control group, right? So you select all your archers, put them on control group 1. Select all of your minions, select them, and then put them on control group 2. Then you have complete control over which ones you're telling to do that. And that's the selecting of which one it is or whatever is something I've wanted for a while. I just haven't had an opportunity to do it. Because it changes the dynamic of the game a bit. You can specifically command troops that you want very quickly that way. Right now there's no easy way of targeting only your archers or grabbing only your archers. The rally point thing was kind of a partial way of doing that, is by setting in the rally point of all of your archery ranges to a different spot than where you do your minions. You could accomplish the same goal, right? But it was just a band-aid, a temporary band-aid, and it served other purposes, is why I did it first. Okay, I think this is playing very quickly. There's no, I need to stop and wait for resources to generate, right? I can build whatever I need to build next right away. So Reaper, if you weren't watching, I made it so that all of these resources, the farms don't need food, the lumber doesn't need wood, the stone doesn't need stone, the iron doesn't need iron, gold doesn't need gold, diamonds don't need diamonds. And I also buffed back the town hall's resource generation. In fact, this whole time, I don't think I've made farms, have I? Let's make a bunch of farms. Oh, there was farms there. Also, should have archers have similar intelligence to skeletons, aka they try and stay up to 10 blocks away. Hey, Reaper, they do. You know how I know they do? Because they're using the skeleton AI. They have a very, very similar to AI to the skeletons. It was modeled off the skeleton. They stand back and circle like a skeleton does. That's like one of the things I love about AIs in games. It's like you don't realize how it's actually working as a player, because it seems like they have their own thing going on, like they're unique, and they're really not necessarily. Like, you can get away with a lot of reuse in an AI system, and people just don't pick up on it. And they might have, no, they aren't exactly the same, right? Don't get me wrong. So there is a component of different settings on them, right? Skeletons have more health. Skeletons might have a different follow range than what they do. So they'll start attacking at a different range. Their attack damage is probably less than a skeleton, I don't know. But that was more for balancing the game out so that it isn't quite as... archers aren't as OP as what they are, even though they're still really OP. So your idea around the hold command thing is something I want implemented as well, because I want a map where you can hold the high ground, right? You build a map where you have to go up a tube-high block through a ramp in the back of the base, and basically I want to put my archers along that wall and stop anybody that's coming in with just archers. I like how this has changed the early game. It's basically place, go, no stopping me because of I need to wait for things. My concern is, though, if someone were to come and knock out my diamond farms, is that really going to hurt me now? Right? Because my diamond farms don't cost me diamonds, so I can replace them very easily. But at the same time, typically we're not running at 0 resources, right? We're not running 100% efficiency with our stuff. At least I'm not. Let's place down a bunch of barracks here. Right over our iron, that we still need more of, actually. That's kind of stupid. Iron's the resource we're running out of, and iron is needed to make troops. Okay, it looks like I only get 1 on that one. Okay, now let's place down barracks. Why am I doing this? I wanted to start spending resources just to see how it plays out. Is Colton Android only? I'm used to program for Android. I assume it's not Android only. Oh, is that? Okay, if it's for Android, specifically for Android, and I doubt it, because what you were saying about Hypixel, it's not. But it would make sense that why it was made now. Because there's been a lawsuit between Google... Oh, Kotlin. Wow. That's my see a word and guess it for you. There was a lawsuit between Google. Yeah, that's why they're using it. So Google got sued by Oracle, who owns Java now, about Android specifically. Because they were compiling they were using Java basically, and took some of the language APIs and stuff like that, and Oracle sued them over it. Basically copyright, basically, right? And that's probably their response to it, is to come up with a different language so that they can not be accused of copyright. Still compiles to the bytecode, so they don't have to actually change anything the same. That's very slick of them to do that. If that's the reasoning, that was a good move. still doesn't fix that the industry has that potential flaw in it, right? Where if somebody were to make an API and somebody else were to make an API that's similar or use portions of the similar code, that they can just then, without actually copying it. Now, copying it, that's a different thing, right? But I don't believe that Google actually copied. They just made something almost identical. It's like saying you can't do printf, right? Because somebody has a copyright on printf, but everybody uses printf. Can't program without it. Okay, so resource production's up. Let's get some research going. So bucket steel was a copyright thing. And that was around the time when I stopped doing stuff for a while for Minecraft because of it. So Bucket made their own APIs, and it was a community thing. And one of the people, this is my understanding of it, right? So this might not be 100%, but one of the people that was contributing to Bucket, so they were writing the code, they were programmers, right? Had some falling out or something with the Bucket team and didn't want his code to be part of Bucket anymore. So he put a DCMA request, copyright request against the Bucket code and had to have it taken down. That dude got spammed with death threats. I bet he did. He had to have gotten so many people ticked off. Yeah, so he did that. Bucket code got taken down. Lots of servers couldn't use Bucket anymore, right? But the thing that really kind of baffles me about it is Spigot, which is Bucket but optimized, right? Had created their own way of getting around it, and I don't truly understand how they done this, because maybe it's because they're not posting their code or something, right? But it still does Bucket. Yeah, you couldn't download the jar anymore, right? It was just the compiled code that it affected, it seemed, because what Spigot did to fix it, to allow them to continue, is they have created a jar that downloads the source code and compiles it. Yeah, exactly. You download the builder, a makefile or whatever. So I've got 213 guys selected right now. No lag. Not really, at least. TPS is just fine. It's just shy of what it needs to be, or just under what it needs to be. Yeah, see, it's starting to go up a bit. So I'm not issuing any commands. We're not issuing any rally point things, but we do have a lot of entities in the world right now. There is 330 within the chunks that I have loaded right now. 340. Now, typically, you'd already have a battle with somebody, right? But if you're holding out this long, you're doing something wrong. Let's see what happens if I do this. Come on, guys. Come with me before you start lagging more. I guess go this way. I want to place a rally point or a formation on the edge of the map. I'm facing this way, which means 4 of them will be this way, 4 of them will be that way. What will they do? Oh, they don't run off the map. That's awesome. PVC. What's C? Player versus character? So you want a non-playable character to be your enemy? Player versus computer, okay. Making the enemy AI spawn things is easy. Making it control them is difficult. Like, there's no concept. No, Ramon's got a good point. There's been lots of people that have asked for not player versus character, but more of like an AI that you can play against. For multiple reasons, like a waves survival type mode. Some of these guys died in a fire apparently, or something, or not here, or stuck somewhere. So there's a hole in it. Okay, King, there's no need to do personal attacks against people. I'll just leave that one blocked. Okay. YouTube does it for me. Yeah, it's for play single player, exactly. I think your computer would cry with this game in single player. The server's taking most of the load for you. Why is my formation doing this? There's some guys stuck somewhere. So anyway, what I was saying was the problem about isn't spawning them in and having them attack. Like, we do that already. You can see the one message. Here, let's fix that message too. That one's gone. The other messages. Huh? Cry, that isn't understandable. What are you talking about? Oh yeah, your computer. So they'll attack if you get near them and all that. It's some AI intelligence that would need to be created to orchestrate all their troops, right? So what I mean by that is knowing where your base is and sending enemies in to attack your base. It doesn't do that right now. That's what would need to be created. Or knowing that there's troops here, but there's no troops here, so I need to go around those troops to get to the base. Those type of overall intelligences of issuing the commands that a player does right now, right? So I can say, go over there, and all my troops start going over there. That is what's not there. The organizational AI. The strategy. I do that when everything else is done. Yeah, I agree. Just have to look at the pre-program. I have no idea what you mean by that. I'm also not sure if you're trying to troll me right now, Reaper. 1, 2, 3 sets. Yeah, I'm not following you. So there's that type of orchestration that it would need to be done for one game mode. And there they are. There's the guys that we're missing. Then there's the other type of player versus computer or PvE type. And that is, well, how do I describe this? A wave thing. Hey, Devil Bob. The wave thing, right? Where every so often it spawns in troops and moves them towards an objective point. That is different. That is easier. I could probably come up with some type of block or structure that represents the enemy, and it doesn't use resources, right? It puts them on a team, say Team Yellow or whatever, and just sends them towards a target destination, and your base is required to be at that destination. Do it so it spawns entities and sets them so they spawn in a location and have them go to that location and look for the closest enemy thing and go there with its troops. Yeah, that's what I'm basically saying. That type of mode is easier to achieve, where it spawns in 50 troops and moves them towards the town hall. Just automatic, right? Or, oh, jeez. So what you guys don't know is I've been laying the foundation for a map, right? A mini map. So you hit M and it brings up a screen somewhat like this, but it's the map, right? And how I've been doing that is every time you place down, and I did it with the rally point tool. That's why I did it. The other reason. It allowed me to do the rally point tool to set all of the barracks locations. So when you place down a barracks now, let's demonstrate. When you place down a barracks, it adds the location of this barracks to a list. That list is stored on the server, and it knows where every barracks in the game is, every stables in the game is, every whatever in the game is, right? And I'm going to use that list to populate the map. That was my idea. It also used to look to see where all of the barracks of that type is. Once you guys have him go to the base, check for upgrades, and repeat that part too. Yeah, so like sending harder troops is not an issue. That should be relatively simple. The first time he spawns 5 guys and you send them to your base. The second time he spawns in at the next interval, he spawns 10 troops in, then 15, and then 20. And then once he hits 20, he starts sending archers with him, right? And then once he gets enough archers in the mix, he starts sending, what do you call them? Lancers, and then pikemen, and then knights, and then advanced knights. You know, and he just keeps mixing up what he's sending to you and what building he's going for. And that's why I'm saying this, how about making an API instead so that you can use a map for later mods too? Again, I haven't made an API before, so I'm not sure what is required to do it. I've used APIs, but never made them. So, and it's probably just the thing in my head. I just haven't thought it through. I think it's fun to have 2 players fight 2 computers even. Yes, agree. But what I'm saying is that data structure that I've created that keeps track of where everything is in the world without having to scan all of the blocks in the world repeatedly will lend itself very well to knowing where to attack. Yeah, I agree, Blue. It's right. I do make most of my stuff public, but my issue is I don't know what would be needed by the API, right? What someone else would need to know about my mod to allow them to work with my mod, right? It's a hard thing to answer. And also API, it needs to come later with everything else I've got going on. If ever, I should say. I have a feeling I'm going to release this. The core group of my subscribers that are really interested in it are going to download it and probably play with us on RTSCraft, my server, and that's going to be about it. This mod is not a mod that'll be heavily downloaded. Right, so, well, by public I mean the methods are public inside Java. That way someone can access it and call it outside of the class. Anyway, but the problem also with that is I've made most of the things public, so things that shouldn't be called by other code that can break my mod are not protected or private, right? So that's what I'm talking about. No, Reaper, it's not like the download count that I care about. It's what I'm saying is there's not going to be a huge player base for this. So someone else making a mod for this is not going to be likely. If someone wanted to contribute to this, this is on GitHub, and they are more than welcome to make a pull request to the mod on GitHub. If they wanted something there. But anyway, what I was saying was this structure where I'm saving the locations of everything could make that strategic AI possible. because I'll know where to send things across the map even. Jeez, you're making me want to do that like today, but I don't have the time today, I don't think. I would love to make it so that we have a wave survival. And one night this week we just play it, right? And try it out. Oh, we could do this so easy. So in my configs, I don't have the config file open anymore, do I? But I do have this open, which can get to the configs real easy. Okay, so in the configs, the very top, there's a game mode. Run is the mode that we're currently in. World Builder is what you want it set to if you're building the structures, because that prevents it from saving some pieces of information like what team that block's on and stuff like that, so that it doesn't save it as part of the structure. It gets set when we're in run mode only. We could add another one, Wave Survival, where one of the teams becomes the enemy in Wave Survival, and no players are allowed to go to that team then, right? And it just sends troops at everyone else that's not on its team. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to go to my issues on GitHub and start making some notes of some stuff we're talking about. Issues. 2 new issues. 3 new issues. No, I think 2 new issues. We already got Wave Survival. Okay, so 2 new issues. They are add a hold position command to the retreat one. That will not let the minions move, but will let them attack. When to activate it, use the sneak shift key when clicking the destination. Okay. Oop, submit. New issue. Crap, what was the other one? Oh, okay, I know. Add hotkey to allow for selecting all units in the area of a given type. All archers. Example. Okay, and then we need to find the issue for the wave survival. It's a mess, isn't it, Blue? What's that? Switch. I don't even know where you're at in the code, man. Switching with only one expected result. Huh? There's 2 results there. You've got a normal and a locked state. We also had a 3rd state at one time in a different method, different mode. Oh, I see what you're saying, because it just breaks when it's normal. Probably because I set it up as an enum and just said, give it all of the states. There's a hotkey you can do in Eclipse where it fills out a switch statement with every possible value. So for this one, we need to add in, use the map data for the AI, what's it called? There was a third state as well. It's probably just that particular button doesn't have it. So there's a normal, there's a locked, and there's a researching state, research state. There's several different states that are available. Yeah, normally I would have used an if statement. I'm trying to do things in a way, I'm trying to break some old habits I have. Let's put it that way. And maybe I'm not doing them efficiently every time. The code that ends up, the byte code that ends up being generated is going to be basically the same though. If it's locked, it goes to the locked one. And in that piece, that's not going to cause lag anyway. Use the map data for the AI to allow it to know where to send its troops. E.g., if it wants to send them to the resources or send them to the troop production or the town hall, etc. This was not intended use of the map data, but a great use of it for wave survival or other AI controlled players. This makes the AI, well, it's not an, makes the AI commander, that's probably the best name, AI commander possible, because it can know where to send things strategically. I spelled strategically wrong. The complexity of this has dropped dramatically because of this. And we wouldn't need to solve the single player issues if we still hosted it on a server. Sent you a video about Kotlin earlier, just so Zoom examples. Okay. Yeah, unless it's like a 6-hour video, I'll definitely watch it. Most of my YouTube viewing history is probably programming stuff in some form or another. Could allow for 2v enemies. 2v computer. 2 player or more versus computer survival. See, and I could even make the AI smart enough to where if there's 3 players playing, it sends, or 3 teams playing against it. So let's say yellow is always the AI. So red, green, and blue were players. It could send 3 times the troops out and send those troops to each of them, right? Because the way that my structure, the data structure works. So let's take a look at it. I want to review it from my own memory and also just describe what I've done to you guys here. I think it's in this map structure data. So I called it map because I fully intend to create a mini map with it. If I can get there, I just haven't devoted the time to do it. But it's just a block position, a type of the structure, and a team name, right? So we know what team it's on. The structure type is archer ranges, armories, barracks, farms, gates, lumber yards, mine site, iron, gold. So we can specifically target a given resource type. Research centers, siege workshops, stables, town halls, walls, steps, watchtowers, etc. So I fully intend to add every single type to this, right? As we add new ones. So it will know where everything is and which team it's on. And then I could just say, spawn 15 units and set the move command to their position, go. Right? As long as there's not a huge thing in the way, it should be fine. What? Int 5x equals, int x5 equals, int x equals 5 would be var x int equals 5 or var x equals 5. Oh, you're talking about the Colton language. Kotlin language, gosh. So var x, I think I get. That's not a typed one? Or is the type implied? Yeah, I'm gonna say that wrong every time then. Don't know why. I thought I said it was strictly typed. So that means everything has a data type then. Well, okay, on the Kotlin's site, I like this one. I hate writing code just for the sake of writing code. It can detect the type automatically most of the time. Yeah, so that's similar to JavaScript, and I hate JavaScript's assign 5 to the variable, and it could be a string or it could be an integer, right? Safe. Avoid the entire classes of errors such as null pointer exceptions. Oh, that's cool. Interoperable. Leverage existing libraries for JVM, Android, and the browser. Choose any Java IDE or build from the command line. So you can use Eclipse or IntelliJ, Android Studio, standalone. Cool. Really? They're gonna use that in Gradle? Cool. Yeah, like I said, I'll have to check it out sometime. I don't know that I'm gonna change what I'm doing here for it, right? Because that'd be like a rewrite. Trying to think through if there's anything else we would need in this specifically, the map data, to allow for the AI to go and attack people. I don't think so. Oh, I'm saying if I wanted to use that language instead of Java for all of the stuff I've already done, I have to rewrite it. I'm not going to do that. I get that you can add on to your existing Java stuff, but for now I'm not going to. Don't know it good enough. Reaper, you have wrecked my plans, because I think just talking it through with you today has made me realize that it's not as complex as I thought it would be, and the complexity was what was stopping me from adding it. It wouldn't change during a project because there's still something. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. The learning curve would slow down this project. Okay, well, I did my test here that I wanted to do. We don't need to be on this server anymore. Also, what is TPS right now? Because Forge TPS, it is 20. Oh, I've turned off unit production, that's why. How many entities are in the world? 280. If I come back this way, they'll start loading in though. 283. Yeah, let's do this. Stop. And we'll do our command on the server to get the graphs here in a second. Because it needs like 5 seconds before it will build the graphs. Oh, is it lagging? I had a couple frames dropped, OBS says. Like 200 frames. Let's do the game stats. And look at yellow team's military power chart. Yeah, we had about 400 troops on that world. Crazy. I'm trying to decide what I do next, guys. We've got the trebuchet that's a half-baked thing. This would be cool to have, though. Wave survival. The wand stuff would be cool to have. We just added issues for the hold command and the hotkey stuff. Those are probably not days of work. Those are probably the two of them I could probably get done in an hour. Give or take. The wave survival thing is going to take me some time. The map thing is going to take me some time. Mostly rendering time. Like I need to write a bunch of rendering code for it. Let me look at one thing with the map piece. Let's find where the vanilla client is rendering its map. How is it rendering its map? I don't see it in here. Render. Okay. Item renderer. Where'd you go, item renderer? Map. It's only the bitmap stuff. That's something completely different. Okay. First person renderer? I doubt that. Although it does have map data in it. Render map first person side. So if they're right-handed or not. Render arm first person. Render map first person and gives the item stack. Okay, so this Finds the map resource. It's the background, okay. Gets the tessellator, build for builder, translates everything, draws a square on the screen, gets the map data, and then calls this map item renderer get render map, which calls this render map item renderer, creates a square, draws it, map decorations. What the heck? Is this all it does? Is one big square? So this dot location finds the texture of this dot location, and this dot location is set to what? The map. So it's an actual texture then. A dynamic texture, okay. Map texture counters. Okay. No, it's actually a resource location. Huh. But what populates it? So I'm trying to get to where does that texture get set? Map data is where it's going to come from, right? Update map texture, there we go. So it's setting the color of the individuals within the array of colors. So what is this colors part of this? It's a byte array of 16,384, which is going to be a square rooted to something, probably 256 or something, right? 16,384. 128. So 128 pixels by 128 is what the map array is. And this map data class with a whole bunch of stuff: dimension, tracking position, unlimited tracking, the color array, which is actually what gets set on the map. Okay, so it's taking K, which is what? J plus I times 128. So that's getting the index within the array for the X and the Y within it. Okay, so that's simple enough. And it's ending that with 255, and that becomes L. And this is where it's actually setting the pixel colors. Get texture data, set pixel. Based on what the pixel format is, don't care about that. Mem int buffer. Checking the image. Image pointer. Okay, well, I get what it's doing. It's setting an XY coordinate to a color value through this. It's just this get texture data. It's a native image. Where's native image coming from? What kind of class? It's a Minecraft class. Allocating memory with some pretty low level stuff, I think. Probably for performance reason. Set RGB. We would have to create our own do we though? Do we need to create a native image? I don't think we do. I think we just need to create this type of structure and come up with our own population of the data. We need this method basically, where we control what goes into this method. We need our structure, which is this, the map data. And we need a map texture, and we set the values to the map texture for it. Or we just give the people a vanilla Minecraft map and boom, done. But what I want to do is have it so that when you open up the screen, it updates for what's around you. Okay. The mini-map will be cool when it's there, but I think it's not going to be as effective, especially if we use this where it's only 128 pixels wide. For reasons, and that reason is it's not going to show you much more than you can already see in that big of an area. So what I was thinking was we'd have a different color for each building type or each structure we've placed, and that's not going to help. So yeah, I think our next move for the mod or the project would be adding these two features. Can I add those to the project somehow easily through this? No. Current actions? No. Assign, milestone, label, mark as. No. Okay, I can't add them to the project. Cool. 198, 197. So let's get these two added. That should round out the rest of the commands for troops. Then after that, I would like to, but I don't know that it's the right thing for the mod, but I just want it. The wave survival. Wherever it is in here. But that's not going to be now, guys. I need to take a break. Work on some stuff that's not on the computer for a while so I don't hurt my shoulder and stuff, and I will catch you next time, maybe later today, I don't know. This evening is probably not going to be a stream because it's New Year's. Happy New Year's, everybody. Bye.